Okay, and we're back with Steins Gate 0. Okay? Oh, I think it's better for me to load the game first. Okay? Okay, so what happened in last stream is that, easy to say is that, Amadeus wanted to visit the lab, okay, and keep on pestering Okabe, okay, and at the same time, like Suzuha and Daru is in the lab, okay, so Suzuha is worried about Daru, okay, and at the same time, like Daru knew that Yuki is supposed to be his wife, so in a sense, I feel like they create like a paradox where he because he knew that it's gonna be he's gonna marry, maybe he didn't put too much effort, but then again it seems that he get nervous around Yuki, okay, and with that said, okay, Yuki like thinks that oh, Daru is not interested in me. Rather than that, Daru might not like Yuki, so he got afraid, okay, he kind of feel a bit, pressured a bit, so Suzuha will like trying to set them up, and it was at that time, Yuki came in to the lab, okay, and she, not to cause a fuss, she hid in the Labo somewhere, okay, from Yuki, and it was that time when Okabe came into the lab, and then we have a chance to either ignore or answer the call. So we pick up the call from Amadeus and show her a bit of the lab, okay, and it was at that time, he was surprised to see somebody down there, and it's actually Suzuha, okay, and now like they are watching TV. Okay, so with that said, let's continue with the story. Someone had left the TV on. It was playing the afternoon news. Suzuha knew no one was watching it, but she used the remote to turn on the volume anyway. She wanted to keep the girls in the shower room from hearing us. I could hear Mayuri and Yuki laughing from the shower. Things had gotten awkward when Yuki had found Suzuha, but Mayuri quickly came up with a plan. At first, the plan was that for the three of them, including Suzuha, to shower naked together and hopefully get Yuki and Suzuha more comfortable around each other. But Suzuha said the shower room was too small for 3 people and refused. Suzuha was staring at the ceiling.
鈴葉のせいじゃないよ。オカリンが悪いんだ。
オカリンが悪いんだから。
誰が事前に教えてくれなかったからだろう。
how?
教えるタイミングなんてなかったじゃん。つうかオカリンさ、スマホ片手にブツブツ喋ってたけど、何してたん？
クリスとは喋った。
それは、
誰かと話してたよね。
Yep。
そういうアプリがあって、試しに使ってみたんだ。
おお、ギャルゲっぽいやつ？オカリンもそういうのやるようになったのか。
in a sense, he's
そう
really
いう
getting
ことな
wrong.
ら、後で僕のおすすめアプリ教えるお。
Oh. I guess I meant to fool them about Amadeus.
何にせよ、私がうかつだったよ。おじさん、さっきは驚かせてごめん。
そもそ
I
も
prefer Steins Gate rather
彼
than
女から隠
Zero's
れる必要があるのか？
sprites.
すでにダルの妹で通っているんだから、コソコソする方が逆に怪しまれるだろう。
Suzuha had tried to avoid Yuki to begin with. Just meeting her father was enough to potentially cause a time paradox, she said, and that chance went up even more if she met her mother. Both Yuki had found her before long, and Suzuha had been forced to say she was Daru's little sister. Yuki believed it, so why not make things any more complicated?
そうなんだけど、母さんが思った以上に私と仲良くなりたがるんだ。あまり会話しすぎるとボロが出かねない。
自分とよく似てる人間が現れたら嫌悪するか興味を示すかのどちらかだろうな。
Mm-hmm. And Amane Yuki was the
嫌
leader?
われた方がずっと楽だよ。
いっそ事実を打ち明けるわけにもいかないか。
Right now, only a few people knew that Suzuha was a time traveler. Me, Daru, Mayuri, and Fairies. That was all.
つうか、このまま何も説明しなくていいんじゃね？天音氏はなんつうか、秘密とか無理に聞きたがるような人じゃないと思うんだよね。鈴葉ならよくわかってるんじゃないか？
確かに未来の母さんはそんな人じゃなかったけど。
じゃあ大丈夫だって。いずれ時が来たら僕からちゃんと説明しとくよ。
本当？
When?
ああ、
When you get married? When she get pregnant with
わかっ
Suzuha?
た。父さんに任せる。
Suzuha nodded.
で今後は天音氏を露骨に避けるのやめるっつうことで。
うまくやれるかどうか自信ない。
If you ask me, that's also gonna cause a problem because Suzuha, well, Yuki thinks that Suzuha, like Daru is interested in Suzuha, so she herself might be interested in Daru. With all things said, you know, things are not looking good.
大丈夫だって。
お前が言うなって話だけどな。
ん？
さっきだって相変わらず苦手意識出しまくってたじゃないかお前。
僕のことは今はどうでもいいっしょ。
Yeah, that's the main problem. And then the conversation came to a halt, which meant we started thinking about the voice coming from the shower room.
つうわけで。
You're gonna go and peek. Open his mouth, perhaps he couldn't take it anymore.
ニコ生見てもいいかな？ブラチューの生特番があるんだ。
不許可って言っても主張するんでしょ？
Blood Plus, right? An anime called Bloodtoon the Animation. Originally a manga, it was animated last year. The show drew a lot of attention from anime fans, and the main heroines, Seira Ogen, become popular enough to have many figures. This is probably Blood Plus.
じゃあどうぞ。
Kura sighed and Daru sat in front of the PC and put his headphones on.
何？おじさん。
いや仲のいい親子だと思ってさ。
Yeah, who's the
そう
dad?
かな？
Who's the parent?
ああ未来でもダルはこんな感じだったんだろ。
もっと痩せててかっこよかったけどね。
想像もつかないな。
うん。
And the conversation died again. There were a ton of things I needed to talk to Suzuha about. But that was why I couldn't say a word. Maybe it was the same for her. Since there was nothing else to do, Suzuha and I turned back to the TV. The news was still on.
今日、東京銀座でフランスのファッションブランドル・パラディのオープニングイベントが行われました。
As the newscaster spoke, I could see over 100 women line up in front of a store.
平和だね。私が物心ついた頃には、すでにこんな光景は存在しなかった。
On the TV, a girl in a pretty outfit was talking to an interviewer.
羨ましいな。彼女たちは誰も殺さなくていいし、誰にも殺されないんだね。私が育った時代はさ、相手が男だろうと女だろうと容赦なく殺さなきゃいけなかったんだ。次の瞬間には自分の命が終わるかもしれない。 そんな恐怖が寝ても覚めてもつきまとってた。恐怖を忘れるためには狂気に身を任せて自分が殺す側に回るしかなかったよ。
Mad Max. That was war. That was Suzuka's life. I've been too many nightmares for the Worldline, but none of them were that bad.
父さんたちはタイムマシンのことで反政府組織とみなされてね。
But what about Mayumi's child? He was far more powerful than the one existed in the Alpha Worldline, because the Alpha Worldline can only travel back in
私
time.
も軍から離脱して父さんたちに加わったから警察や治安部隊に追われることになった。それからはもっともっとひどい戦闘が何度もあったよ。正義のための戦いなんて綺麗な言葉は使いたくない。たくさん殺したし友達や仲間も大勢殺された。その中には私の母さんもいた。
The other was still glaring at the computer screen. But I could see him twitch. He must have been listening to Suzuha while he pretended to look at the screen.
軍の無人機から私を守ろうとして機銃掃射で死んだよ。
This was the first time I heard how Amane Yuki died. She was in the next room right now, having fun in the shower, and that was how she was going to die.
この目でズタズタにされていく母さんを見た。この全身で母さんの生温かい血を浴びた。
Maybe the reason Suzuha didn't want to talk to her mother in 2010 was that she didn't want her asking about the future. There was no way Suzuha could tell her that.
ねえ、おかりんおじさん。
At some point, Suzuha's eye had started to overflow with tears.
この世界線の行き着く先は地獄しかないんだ。今すぐじゃなくていい。時間切れにはまだ少しだけ時間があると思う。だからもう一度だけ考えてお願い。お願いだよ。
俺は
I knew it. In my mind, I knew it. The right thing to do was to do as he asked. But that will not be.
死にたくないよ。
Because the only way for him to reach Steins Gate is for him to fail. It's for him to fail and direct the plan to the Okabe, to the present day Okabe. And he's just going to be like, the link. My hands went to my mouth. There was a wave of pain, like my stomach was turning inside out.
おじさん、
大丈夫か、おかりん。
悪い。
Luna poured me a cup of water and I gulped it down.
ごめん。こんなことまだ話すんじゃなかった。
いや、大したことない。大丈夫だ。
I sank to the sofa and tried to calm down.
鈴葉の言いたいことも気持ちもよくわかるんだけど、俺は何度も世界線を漂流してきた。こことは違う世界線でタイムマシンに運命を翻弄される人たちを見てきた。
I wonder if this timeline is where where he met with, like, does he have memories of the Mr. Brown's daughter? Because in one of the timeline, she turned into a maniac that used the time leap machine over and over and over again. Like, she time leaped 20 years back into the past, with every single cycle going 2 weeks. She repeatedly do it again and again and again. So I wonder if he remembers.
お前の非業の結末さえ見てきた。俺自身もそれに巻き込まれて、何もかも無力だってことを知った。
Humanity was powerless before the laws of this world.
タイムマシンを使って世界線を改変するのは、この宇宙の仕組みから逸脱することだ。俺たち人間が手を出していい領域じゃない。いわば神の領分なんだ。それに触れれば、俺たちはもっともっと残酷な罰を受けることになる。俺はそう思う。
それがオカリンおじさんの答えなの？
Then she just gonna
少
go
な
there
くと
now.
も今はな。
Okay.
そう。
ただの逃げだとなじってくれてもいい。
うん。そんなことしないよ。
But it is the truth. Looked up at the ceiling and sighed. It must be a habit she picked up lately.
続いてのニュースです。厚生労働省はアメリカで猛威を振るっている新型の脳炎ウイルスについて、今のところ日本国内での発症例は報告されていないと発表しました。ただ、この新型脳炎は潜伏期間が長いことから、すでに国内に上陸している可能性も否定できないとして、感染症法に基づき全国の医療機関に対して新型脳炎対策と感染症発生動向の速やかな調査を指示しました。ここからはお茶の水医科大学の春山倉庫教授にお話を伺います。春山さん、この新型の脳炎というのは具体的にはどのような症状が出るものなのでしょうか？
新型脳炎は感染力は弱いのですが、潜伏期間が長く突然発症します。症状としては幻覚や記憶障害が主ですね。例えばそうですね、会社で仕事をしていたはずなのに気がつくと家にいたりですとか、会ったこともない人に会った記憶があるというような症例が報告されています。
Basically, it's the reading Steiner, or I would like to say, if in the real world, it's probably like the Mandela effect. Like, Mandela effect is basically like, there are people in the world that you know recall things that are different compared to the facts. So, for example, well, the main is the fact that people thought Mandela had died, but then actually he lived and just recently died. Okay, they thought he died in prison. Okay, and the fact that they forget, some people had basically remembered things wrongly, or like in a sense that the world that they remember and the present world somehow doesn't match up.
あとは実際には発生していない事件が起こった覚えがあるなどといった記憶の混乱も現れているようです。夢と現実の区別ができなくなったり、時間感覚を失ったり、周りの人と記憶が一致しなくなるので錯乱状態に陥ったり、いわゆる寝ぼけているような状態、デジャブのようなものと言えますが、もっと症状がはっきりしています。
治療法についてはいかがでしょう？
他の脳炎と違いまして、適切な治療を受ければ比較的速やかに完治することが分かっています。ですので、もし国内で感染者が出たとしても、それほど恐れることはないと思いますよ。
Wait, it happened in America? it happened in America, so like, is there anybody else in America, went through this? Because the biggest, like, Japan, basically Okabe and the rest are the one that caused it, So how can people in America... Wait! Then in other words, is Moeka and Brown, Mr. Brown, affected by this? Remember, they are CERN, after all. Don't tell me that CERN... Oh, shit. Don't tell me that the Alpha Line CERN, which is basically the evil the evil organization that control all the world. So did they come into this Beta Worldline and like disrupt the like forcing a clash in the two realities? Well, basically this, I don't know why, but it kind of like have a bit of crossover with the themes in Recreators. The information I just heard was that shocking? A kind of new encephalitis. I knew the symptoms in memories. Wait, they're going for a flashback now? 1975. Yeah. The main reason that she went back in time is so that she can take the IBM 5100 and pass it to Okabe of the 2010. The interior of the time machine smelled like metal and was covered in instruments of different sizes. The girl inside was sobbing. It would have been almost an hour since Suzuha had left to go look around. She assumed that Kagari would stop crying by then, but she had no such luck.
いつまで泣いてるつもりだ。
She's still a kid!
しっかりしなきゃダメだ。まゆ姉さんの気持ちを考えろ。
She's still a kid! Shina Kagari looked up at Suzuha, her face wet with tears.
だから泣くんじゃない。鬱陶しい。
Suzuha walked over to Kagari and knelt down, so they'd be at eye level. No, this Suzuha, the Beta Line Suzuha, is much more colder compared to Alpha Line Suzuha. At least Alpha Line Suzuha, she's more kind and she can joke around, even though she had military training. Her goal was to save billions of lives, and this was her first mission.
いいか?
But she
こ
didn't
れ
came
から
back
は
with
かなり
Kagari.
もワルキューレの一員とみなす。私の部下として扱う。非戦闘員じゃないからな。ここは1975年だ。知ってる人間は誰もいない。父さんもマユ姉さんも出生してない。つまり、誰も守ってくれないんだ。
Wait. Tips. Valkyrie. Okay.
自分の身を守るのは自分だけだと思え。いいな。
But why did she came back to the present with Okabe? Kagari was a brave girl and she finally realized that now wasn't the time for tears. She tried to stop crying, but it wasn't working well. But it was a lot better for her emotions than sobbing. She was a smart girl, Suzuha knew that.
あまり時間がない。この時代の人間にタイムマシンが見つかったら大騒ぎだ。
The machine had landed on the roof of radio building, which wasn't a spot that people visited often. The chances of anyone finding it was slim, but in this era, they had no one to help them to conceal it. That means they couldn't stay long. She needed to finish her mission quickly and move to the next time period.
何か失敗したら、またタイムマシンで時間を戻ればいいんじゃないの？
燃料に問題があるんだ。ジャンプできる回数は無限じゃない。肝心の場面で動作しなかったら話にならない。
そうなんだ。
立てるか
Suzuha stepped out of the machine and beckoned to Kagari. Kagari looked surprised. Her eyes were narrowed at the bright sunlight. The sky above Tokyo in this time period was too dirty to call blue. Smoke and dust clouds filled with who knew what were rising from the rows of smokestacks. It all combined with the black exhaust from the cars that scurried along the ground to create a black smoke so thick you could actually see it. Wait, remember that they say that the time machine could only move through time but not space? So in other words, they chose radio wheeling because it's in the past it already existed. If not, then it would be floating in space like nothing. Oh well. But I still wonder, where is she? The sky above the city was covered with a veil of death. But still, it was the first clear sky that Kagari had ever seen. She only ever knew in the books and videos that the sky could be this bright. The nuclear weapon used during the Third World War had changed the weather over Tokyo, and the sky was constantly covered in dull grey clouds. Nuclear dust cloud. The sunlight was always weak when it shone through them, and it was never this bright.
私が子供の頃はまだこんな感じの空だった。少しだけど覚えてるよ。
Now look up at the sky too.
空気が美味しい。
In 2036, you needed a filter and a mask to go outside for any length of time. Compared to 1975, was a lot cleaner.
わかるだろ、かがり。
This reminds me of
父さん
Metro
たちがどうして世界線の改変に全てをかけていたのか。世界線がどうとか、歴史がどうとか、そんな理屈は後でいい。今はただ、この空の色を守りたいと思えば。
Where did Kagari go? Kagari slipped her hand into a pocket and took out the faded green Upa keychain. Wait, she came back to the future with Suzuha. That means that did she died here? Oh god. And she okay. She's probably thinking about marrying her mother. Okay. And she was probably trying to understand what it meant that her mother had put inside the time machine, so that she doesn't get killed. Even though she's gonna disappear, she doesn't want them to feel pain. Suzuha decided that Kagari was alright now and closed the hatch on the time machine from the outside. The lock flipped automatically. The only person who can open now was Suzuha, whose biometric had been loaded into the system ahead of time. Even if someone did find the machine, it would be a while before they could even find out what it was.
かがり、これを見ろ。
Suzuha handed a printout of a photo.
これ何？
IBN 5100
IBN5100 っていうレトロ PC だ。私たちの時代に存在していたものはどれも満足に動かない。けどこの時代なら感動品が入手できる。これを手分けして探すのが私とお前の最初のミッションだ。連絡はこれで。
And they can take it back to the future. They have to place it somewhere in this world, so that later on
通信できる距離はかなり短いらしいから気休め
in
程
the
度だ
end
と
pass
思
on to Okabe.
大きいドキ。
90分ごとにこのビルの前に集合。状況を確認。それを繰り返す。いいな。
大きいドキ。
いい返事だ。
The fact that she's not with her, it bothers me so much. Suzuha nodded and patted Kagari on the head.
よし、ミッション開始。
Suzuha was on the top of radio building in 2010 looking down.
35年か。
That's how long it had been in real time since she had spoken to Kagari here. From her perspective, it had only been a few months. The view up from up here had changed a lot since then, and in the next 26 years it would change even more. She's seen herself how this building changed over a span of 61 years. The thought didn't make her feel sentimental. Instead, she felt loneliness and fear that comes from having a past not shared with anyone else. Using the time machine to change the world line means breaking the rules of the universe. Okabe Rintaru's word flashed through her mind. Dear lady, she'd been thinking more about Kagari. She'd been searching the city at regular intervals. She was looking for Shina Kagari. She didn't even know if she was in Tokyo. She had no clues, but she didn't even know what Kagari looked like now. So maybe it's a waste of time. Even so, she had to find Kagari herself. I got a feeling that either she married and like anchored herself to this world. And if that's... or she joined the CERN. Wait. Oh god. I just thought of something. Remember that, you know, Mr. Brown and in a sense, Kiri Moika, they're supposed to be, you know, collecting information on time, on IBM 5100 and time traveler. So the fact that they met each other at Amadeus, met Moika at Amadeus, you know, unveiling, does that mean she had a hand in all of this? And early on, if you remember during the news, they say something like, you know, the Mandela effect affected people in America. So is she in America? I got a feeling she's working with CERN now. She turned around and looked toward the time machine. She would come here every day. Her primary reason for coming was to see if her father, Hashida Itaru, had been here. Anytime she let her guard down, he would come to try and examine it. She told him it would cause a time paradox, but he didn't listen. She needed to keep constant watch. To be honest, she had a lot of things she had to do. And then she heard the metal door to the roof open. Was it her dad? She squinted into the darkness, and the person she saw was much smaller than Itaru. They had a cat ears coming out of their head. Fairies?
Nya nya, ita ita. Suzu nyan, konbanwa da nya.
Wait.
Nanda?
Now that I realize it, could Fairy's mother be Kagari? Could it be?
Lumi-san ka.
Fairy Xianya had a spring in her step as she approached Suzuha.
ルミ姉さんって誰のことかにゃ？フェイリスはフェイリスにゃ。
ルミ姉さんはルミ姉さんだよ。
Aki Harumiho. She was Daru's friend and had helped them in many different ways in 2036. So Suzuha had known her ever since she was very young and had always called her Yumine-san. For whatever reason, in this era, she always wanted to be called Fairies though. Even Suzuha asked, she simply responded, Fairies is Fairies nya, an answer which meant nothing to Suzuha.
ラボに誰もいなかったからこっちかなと思ったら正解だったにゃ。はい、差し入れ。余り物で悪いんやけど。
Fairy showed her a cake box with a logo from the maid cafe where she worked, May Queen Yang Yang.
父さんがラボに不在でよかったよ。
Why? If he ate something like that at this hour, he'd even get fatter.
ダルニャンじゃなくてスズニャンへの差し入れにゃ。
私に？なんで？
にゃふふ、好きなくせに。
Fairy grinned and nudged Suzuha in the side of her elbow. With the side.
私は別に。
アップルタルトにモンブラン、あとイチゴのショートケーキもあるにゃ。
うん。
ほーら、美味しそうだにゃ。
Fairies opened up the box and showed her what was inside. Suza could smell the sweet cream and fruit.
さあ、今すぐ美味しく食べるといいにゃ。心置きなく食べるといいにゃ。ほら、あんして、その可愛いお口に食べさせてあげるにゃ。
冷蔵庫にしまって明日食べる。
すずにゃんはストイックにゃ。
Fairies laughed and handed over the box.
賞味期限は明日だから明日中に食べなきゃダメにゃぞ。
ありがとう。
どういたしまして。
Like, I still remember the route that I chose. Like, in Steins Gate, you have a chance to romance her and basically like go for a future with her. In a sense, they did avoid Okabe did manage to avoid Mayuri's death, but at the same time, Okabe did not met Daru and Mayuri. In that world line, what happened is that Okabe and Mayuri, Okabe and Fairies, are a couple, and they, played the card game together.
ダルニャンのタイムマシン研究の方はどうかにゃ。
頑張ってはいるみたい。ルミ姉さん、このマシンまだここに置いておいても？
Well, she is the owner of this area. Look around the room as she asked. It was solely thanks to Fairies that no one had really noticed the massive object on the roof. She was the heir to a rich family that had a lot of influence in the area and had contributed to a lot to the development of Akihabara. She was helping to hide the time machine. Okay, spoiler warning. The reason why how Fairies had a hand in like messing up with the timeline is because her wish is to stop the is to prevent the father's death. So in the real timeline, her father died, and basically, what Okabe did was save both of them, like save Mayuri and save Mayuri father and to a certain extent Kurisu, because Future Lab was never made because Okabe never met with Mayuri and Daru. So in a sense, it's a happy ending. But one thing is that Okabe had a lot of memory problem because his whole memory is totally rewritten because to fit the narrative.
このフロアというか屋上はフェイリスが借り上げちゃったから平気にゃ。オーナーさんには体感ゲームの研究をしてるって言ってあるにゃ。ちょっと苦しいわけにゃけど。
助かるよ。
気にしないでいいにゃ。この世界のエレメンタルを売薬兵たちの魔の手から救うためなら、フェイリスはいつでも協力するにゃ。
Oh god, I wanna see you. Mikey. Winged interstellar creature that appear in Cthulhu mythos. They were created by August Derleth, the co-creator of the Cthulhu mythos along with H.P. Lovecraft, and appear in such stories as The House of Curwen Street. They are described as being chimera-like with 3 meters tall, with wings of petrosaur and the legs of an eagle, and a tail like a bee. Despite their terrifying appearance, they understand human speech, and if they feel like it's in their best interest, they can even work together with humans. In space, they usually travel at around 1/10 of speed of light, but an organ called the hune in their tail allows them to fly faster than the speed of light. The Baiki are supposedly servants of Hester, of the god of Shepherd, a creation of Ambrose Bierce, author of the famous Devil Dictionary. The four elementals. Okay.
そう。昔から、いや、今からしたら未来か。思ってたんだけどさ、ルミ姉さんの話って、時々すごく難しくなるんだよね。一体何語？
考えるんじゃない。感じるのにゃ。
Don't
いいや
think.
いいや。
Please. She is
寒い
punchline.
や。フェイリスはお家に帰ろうかにゃ。
In the end, she never could get an answer. Felix was always a great mystery.
送っていくよ。一緒に出よう。
それじゃあついでにうちでご飯も食べてくといいにゃ。
そういうつもりで言ったわけじゃないんだけど。
So you wanna
ど
go?
うせ普段大したもの食べてないにゃ。スズニャンのストイックさを見てるとフェイリスがなんとかしてあげにゃきゃーって思っちゃうにゃ。保護欲？母性？とにかくそういうのがかきたてられるのにゃ。
私は大丈夫だから。
Before she finished her sentence, she felt someone looking at her. She glanced around.
どうしたのにゃ。
She listened carefully. She definitely heard a very faint sound from the direction of the metal door that led to the stairs. It was small enough that Suza was only able to notice it because of her training.
誰かいる。
にゃにゃ。
多分話を聞かれた。
Most of the discussion was worthless, but they talked about the time machine a little. If someone heard that, I bet it's Daru. It's Daru, right? Suza yanked her gun out of her jacket, and in an instant she ran towards the stairs as fast as she could. She heard someone running down the stairs as soon as she did. Daru, right? The sound, heavy military boots in white stripes, got further and further away. Heavy... Sir?
早い。
Okay, then it's not Daru. She opened the door and jumped onto the landing. Then she raced down the stairs, skipping 3 steps every stride. But still, it wasn't fast enough. Suza was born fast, she'd been trained to be faster, but it wasn't enough. When she finally made it to the second floor, she could hear the loud revving of the motorcycle. Moeka!
まず、
Panicked and slipped on an object that had been left halfway up the stairs, then rolled her way down to the bottom. She managed to get into the right position and protect her head, so it was her hips that hit the ground. It's Moeka, right? But she forced herself to stand up and run outside. She could see the tail light of a large motorcycle speeding away. The driver was wearing a black helmet and a riding suit, and already a good distance away, so she couldn't even tell if it was a man or a woman. They revved their engine loudly, as if to mock her. They had spun and disappeared into Center Street. Oh god. Oh god.
すずにゃん。
A little later, Ferris caught up.
大丈夫かにゃ。
逃げられた。
それしまった方がいいにゃ。
Gun. She put the gun in her hands back in the jacket holster and brushed away her hair that sweat had stuck to her brow.
今の誰にゃ。
わからない。けど一般人じゃない。訓練されてる。
Wait, just one thing I want to say. It's like, although I'm suspecting Moeka, but Moeka is not trained. She's she's stronger than a normal person, but they're not well trained. So who?
思う。
訓練？
階段に何か落ちてなかった？
バッグが転がってたにゃ。
ちょうど死角になる位置だった。多分わざと落としたんだよ。しかも私がそこを通るタイミングでエンジンを空ぶかしした。見事に引っかかったよ。
トラップってことかにゃ。
ああいうことがとっさにできるっていうのは特殊な訓練を受けてるからだ。じゃなきゃ無理。
Is it Tencho? Suzuha glared in the direction the bike disappeared and started to think. Who was it? CERN? There was an unofficial CERN group, the Rounders, that was searching for the IBM 5100 in Akihabara. Okabe Rintaro had told her that. But he only encountered them in another world line.
誰かはわからないけど、私たちの他にタイムマシンのことを知ってる奴がいるのは間違いない。
Because remember, in this timeline, since the Kurisu's father managed to run away with the time traveling theory that Kurisu came up, okay, and he fled to Russia, and they say that that's the spark of the Third World War. Was it that they know about it, but were they going to do anything more? Or did they intend to steal the time machine from her? Since she didn't know, she had to assume the worst, or she would be prepared to deal with it. She looked up into the sky and sighed. It was becoming a bad habit.
ねえ、ルミ姉さん。このことはオカリンおじさんには内密にしておいて。
Why?
なんで？
今のオカリンおじさんが知ったらタイムマシンを破壊しろって言いかねない。危険だからって。でしょ？
そうにゃけど。
私は絶対にマシンを守るよ。シュタインズゲートの入り口へオカリンおじさんを連れて行かなきゃいけないんだから。それが未来の父さんとの、私をここに送り出してくれた人たちみんなとの約束だからさ。
すずにゃ。
Even though, like, if you want to compare, without a doubt, Okabe went through a lot, failing, try and fail. But you also have to take a look from Suzuha. She was raised in, in that kind of world that, she had to kill people without much remorse because it's either you or them. So in a sense, like, she does have a right to change the past. In a sense.
わかったにゃ。その代わり、ダルニャにだけはちゃんと話しておくこと。
オーキードーキー。
I don't remember she saying that much in the Alpha World line. The last part was almost a whisper as her words melted into the Akihabara sky. Maho. Joe, Maho was fidgeting. She knew exactly why, but she didn't want to admit it. What? She's interested in Okabe?
Maho, 準備はできたかい?
What?
はい。
She awkwardly stood up from the chair as Dr. Luskin spoke to her.
何ですか？
少しはおめかしするかと思ったんだが、
Oh.
魔法はマイペースだね。
Dr. Luskin stared at her for a moment and then spoke. It was obvious she was referring to her outfit.
この前みたいにパーティーに出席するわけじゃないんですから。
あの時だって白衣のままだったじゃないか。
あれは服を忘れたんです。
そうだったね。
Dr. Luskin was wearing his translator all the time these days. In fact, he had actually told Maho to talk to him in Japanese.
さて、クリスとリンタロウはどういう関係を築いているかな？ 会うのが楽しみだよ。
Kurisu Rintaro. Dr. Maho and Dr. Ken were talking about to head into the Tokyo proper. There, they were to meet Okabe Rintaro. It had been 2 weeks since they first asked him to test Amadeus. It was time for the first report. Of course, that was the reason Maho was fidgeting. She was nervous to meet Okabe. No, to see Kurisu for the first time in quite a while. Wait, isn't the mainframe is in the office? Of course, Maho was able to talk to Kurisu anytime she wanted, but since she asked Okabe to be the tester, she tried to avoid doing so as much as possible. Ah, okay. She didn't want her conversation to add any extra noise.
教授、出発する前に一つ聞いても。
なんなる意図？
なぜ岡部さんなんですか？
Maho wanted to ask Dr. Leskinen for a long time. If she was going to ask it, though, now was the time. Wait, Dr. Leskinen thought for a while. Is he being controlled?
嫉妬しているのかい、魔法？
それは。
She felt the heat flush her. She felt heat flush her face. In other words, he was right. Yeah, she was jealous of Okabe, but not that she wanted to admit it.
正直、納得はしていません。クリスの話し相手なら、他にも適任がいたはずです。
例えば、君とか。
そうは言いません。私は、クリスとも、アマデウスとも近すぎますから。
リンタロウはいい青年だよ。
本気でそう信じているなら、教授はお人よしです。人の本質を一度会っただけで理解することなんて不可能ですよ。もし彼が私たちに隠れて他の研究者にアマデウスを売り渡してしまったら、
I'll say the other way around.
最初はそのつもりはなかったとしても、
Why does
お
he
金
want
を
to
前
put
にしたら
Okabe
気持ちが揺らぐことだってあります。
as a tester?
それが人間というものです。
仮にリンタロウがアマデウスを売ったとしよう。それでどうなるかな？
And by the way,
アク
he's
セ
a
ス権
Japanese
を
voice
手に
actor,
入れ
okay?
た何者かはクリスと仲良くなってアマデウスそのものを乗っ取ったりできるかな？
それは。
Maho asked herself the question, then realized the chance was almost zero. Almost zero.
ありえません。
そう、ありえない。
Aria not.
なぜならそんな事態になればクリスの方が対話を拒否するだろうからね。アマデウスはそういう意味でとても面倒くさいシステムだよ。なかなかこちらの思い通りには動いてくれない。もちろんアマデウスが説得される可能性もあるだろうけれど、そのために私はモデルとなる人格にクリスと魔法を選んだとも言えるわけでね。
Dr. Leskinen gave her a mischievous wink.
私もクリスも気難しいですからね。そうやすやすと説得はされないでしょう。
He knew he was teasing her, so she decided to say it.
いかにも君たちは本当に容赦ない。これぞ最強のセキュリティだよ。
けなされているように聞こえるんですが。
君たちは我が研究室が誇る最強のレディーさ。
Yeah, but she died. Dr. Leskinen laughed happily. He always had a childlike innocence about him.
いずれにせよ、アマデウスの AI は一筋縄ではいかないわけでね。だからこそ面白いとも言える。そんな彼女たちを身内だけで独占していても進歩はないだろう。アマデウスが劇的な進化を遂げるための起爆剤のようなものがちょうど欲しいと考えていたところなんだ。しかもなるべく研究とは無関係な人物に預けたかった。 ウィンターローは聡明だし、適任だと思ったんだ。クリスの友人でもあったわけだし。とりあえず、今日の報告次第で判断してもいいんじゃないか？クリスがウィンターローと過ごしてどう変化したのかを見極めてからだね。私たちが見たことのないような意外な一面を覗かせてくれるかもしれないよ。
Like his American speaking Japanese accent was really bothering me. So I thought it was really an American.
そろそろ時間だ。レオ。
Mahu nodded. This song was 12, right? I walked onto the grounds of Yanabashi Shrine and quietly took a look around. Is this where they're going to meet? Several cats were sunbathing beneath the cool winter sky, but there was no sign of anyone else. Lukako wasn't back from school yet. Okay, I could talk to Kurisu without anyone staring at me here. I was supposed to meet Dr. Luskin and Maho after this. Before that happened, I wanted to confirm something with Kurisu. I decided to start the app. Quick save. Why? Why quick save? Wait. Let's see. Give me a second. I'm gonna forget how to help. Auto mode. F1, F2, F3. Okay, F3. Huh? Wait. Huh? Auto mode. Wait. It is F. Huh? This is D-pad. F1 help, F2 backlog, F3 auto mode, F4 tips. Why can't I use auto mode here? What be quick save? In that sense, with the exception of the fact that Lukako and Mayuri might show up, the Yanamashi Shrine was in a bad spot.
Hello.
話がある。
今日はこの後教授や先輩に会う予定なのよね。その件について。
ああ。
緊張する必要はないんじゃない？基本的にはログを提出して、あとはあんたから見た私がどんな印象だったのか軽く聞かれるぐらいだと思う。
それだ。ログだよ。それを聞きたかった。
What?
もしかしてこれまでの会話は全部記録されてるのか？
最初に話したでしょ。私は私以外アクセス不可の領域にログを取っているって聞いてなかった？
それを今回教授とヒアジョーさんに提出するのか？
多分そう。
ということはプライベートのことをお前に喋ろうものならヒアジョーさんやレスキネン教授に筒抜けっていうことか？
あんたね、今さら？
Yeah, it was kind of a little late. Kurisu and I had been talking for 2 weeks. What else did he talk about? I should have asked this when I got the access key for Amadeus.
今日になって気づいたんだ。
This is why he's an idiot.
俺、これまでに何かまずいことを話さなかったか？
例えば合コンでろくに女の子と話せなかったこととか実家が八百屋さんなのにナスが嫌いなこととか。
ナスは嫌いなんじゃない。苦手なだけだ。
If that was all, I didn't really
あ
care.
んたが最初に私と話した時にクリスティーナって呼んだこととか。
やばい。
それについては忘れてくれ。
人の記憶は曖昧で
時間が経てば経つほど主観が入り混じるし、物語が付与されていく。その内容がポジティブかネガティブかに関係なく、印象的な言葉しか思い出さないことも多い。それに引きずられて前後の会話の記憶はねじ曲げられていく。それが悪いことだと言ってるわけじゃない。人の記憶というのはそういうものなんだから。でもアマデウスは人じゃない。まだ研究段階の不完全な AI よ。これは教授たちにとって大きな壁の一つなんだけど、実は人の持つ曖昧さをアマデウスはまだ完全には
Why
再
are you
現で
speaking
き
of
てい
him
な
in
い。
third person?
つまりね、忘れるという脳の高度な機能、それを完璧には模倣できてないってこと。
でも ATF でのレスキネン教授の講演だと、アマデウスは不必要なことは忘れてしまうって。
ええ、確かに忘れるわ。
Huh?
けど言ったでしょ、私たちはまるで秘密の日記のようにログを取ってるって。結局その中には全ての情報が残ってしまってるわけ。そしてそれをロードしてくれば、忘却したはずのデータは私の記憶に戻ってきてしまう。 OK？
Huh? Wait. So in other words, she can't like consciously forget. She can constantly forget, but at the same time, like she can still forget if like the data is overloaded. Basically, like a RAM being overloaded with info. So they can't process everything. In other words, asking her to forget was a waste of time.
代替案はログを消すことだけど、私にとってログはバックアップだから絶対無理。仮に一箇所だけ消去しても同じ。前後の文脈を参照して、その不自然に消去された箇所を自動的に修復してしまう。
Okay, now there's one thing I want to say. Remember that just now when we saw the news saying that there's a like memory. I want to say is that the fact that what should I also what say something, but somebody came into my room a while ago. Kind of forget about it. Oh yeah, about the memory, you know, virus and stuff. Okay, so I think like she's gonna be the key to understanding that, because here it says that she can't. There's no way that will happen unless somebody tampers with it. So in other words, like she doesn't have reading signer at all, 0. Okay, like I say, humans have like low level reading signer, level 1, level 2, and Okabe has level 10, full realization when there are changes. So like probably like he will consult with her like to solve the mystery.
それでもなんとか記憶を改ざんしたいというのなら、大元のプログラムそのものをいじるしかない。
I didn't have that level of access, and I didn't understand how that program worked at all. So basically, until I told Kurisu why I called her Christina, she was going to keep asking. What a pain.
で、どうしてクリスティーナ？
I think sooner or later, he's gonna
本当に
spill
引
the
き下
beans.
がらないな。今すぐ通話を切ってもいいんだぞ。
そうやって逃げたって、今説明した通り私は忘れない。はぐらかされるとかえって気になってしょうがなくなるのよね。
Yeah, that's
そ
Kurisu
れ
for
と
you.
もあえてそうすることで私に構ってほしいっていう合図を送ってる？
かまってちゃんはお前だろう。こっちが大学の講義を受けてる最中でもお構いなしで連絡してくるくせに。それだけじゃなく LINE でまでコメントしまくってきて。好奇心旺盛すぎる。そんな調子で無邪気に首を突っ込むといつか痛い目を見るぞ。
研究者はそれぐらいじゃないとやっていけないのよ。
He got mad at me.
そんなにクリスティーナの件が気になるなら推論でも立ててみたらどうだ？
You know, I think what's gonna happen is that Suha gonna contact Suha's gonna contact him and like we need to talk about the time machine. And then like when she look at it, time machine, Okabe, explain this. And that's where, you know, cause of course he will try to hide it, but sooner or later it'll be too hard to do so.
一応いくつかの可能性は考えてはみた。聞いて。
Uh-oh. He's really into this.
可能性その1。あんたはクリスティーナ・なんちゃらという名前のハリウッド女優が好きである。
Nope.
自分がハリウッド女優並みの美貌の持ち主だとでも？
見た目は関係ない。同じ名前の人に親近感を持つのと似たような意味よ。
つまりこう言いたいわけか。私は岡部倫太郎から親近感を持たれている。
単なる例え話でしょ。
かわいい。
言葉通りに受け止めないで。
冗談だよ。
Whenever I talk to Kurisu, I always wanted to tease her. I needed to watch out.
可能性その2。あんたが昔付き合っていた彼女が外国人でクリスティーナっていう名前だった。これについてはあんたの絶望的な英語力を聞く限り絶対にないわね。
Unless it's you.
もしかしたら日本語ペラペラの金髪ブロンド美女と付き合っていたかもしれないだろ。
This is not Catherine, okay?
もしかしたの？
No. No.
沈黙は敗北を認めることと同意よ。
すいません。
可能性その3。オリジナルの私と面識があって直接あるいは間接的にそう呼んでいた。これも確率低いでしょうね。そんな風に呼ばれたら私ならこう答える。ティーナってつけるな。
やばい。That was exactly right. That's exactly what Kurisu said. But I didn't stop
臭か
because
ったんだ。
the genius named Kurisu was the person I wanted to be.
どういうこと？
素直に名前を呼べないから照れ隠しであえて茶化した言い方をした。
照れくさい？
いいだか
オリジナルだけじゃなくてお前と話すのもだ。
So wait, so you're telling her the theory tree?
何しろ
So you admitted the theory
モニ
tree?
ターの中にいる女の子と話すなんて一度もない経験だったから。
それはどうも。
なんで赤くなってるんだ？
赤くなんてなってないし。ただ
Wait, you do know this is being recorded, right?
でも見なかったからちょっとびっくりしただけで。
And that's how I bag your mom.
お前のそういうとこ
Oh,
ろが
how I bag my phone.
好き。
やば。This was a 3D model on the screen, a tiny collection of zeros and ones in the shape of a human. What was I about to say to her? You love her?
ねえ、聞いてもいい？
何が？
私たち知り合いだったのよね。つまりあんたとオリジナルの私がっていう意味だけど。
やばい。
答えたくないならそれでいいけど、どういう関係だったの？少し興味ある。クリスティーナって呼ばれても 私は怒らなかった？
Of course she got mad.
怒ったけれど、それでも笑っているした。
Yup.
あ、
やば、やば。
死にたくないよ。
I was hit with a violent urge to throw up. I could see Kurisu in front of me, covered in blood. She was looking at me, her eyes cold.
あんたが私を殺したのよ。
どうしたの？ねえ、顔が真っ青。
She's puking. I touched the smartphone and ended the call. Then I became too dizzy to stand. I tried to throw up, but nothing came out. My hands were shaking. That's right, I can't change reality. But you can change the past. But there I was, talking to Kurisu like nothing had happened. I was treating her like the real Kurisu and trying to avert my eyes from what I've done. I was just clinging to Kurisu. This was wrong. I shouldn't talk to Kurisu anymore. There was a call from Kurisu. But it seemed that we can ignore it, you know. Let's see for a while. I hung her up in the middle of the conversation, so she was probably mad. Mad? She was just an AI. Kurisu's anger was just a program. Kurisu wasn't Kurisu. Don't treat them like they're the same. I shouldn't talk to Kurisu anymore. Just the incoming call was almost enough to trigger a flashback. In my mind, I could see an image of Kurisu's bloody face. I should turn off my phone. This was getting bad. I couldn't even stand up. It's been half a year and things were still like this. Even I was surprised. I resisted the impulse to try and throw up again. Just turn off the phone. I wanted to get away from Kurisu. It wasn't her fault. It was mine. I couldn't become dependent on Amadeus. This wasn't right, and I needed to stop. It was a blasphemy. I was blaspheming Kurisu's memory. She had sacrificed herself to send me back to the Beta Worldline. I needed to live up to her expectations. She didn't save her, you idiot! Oh well. At this point, he doesn't know that he can save. At this point, he didn't know how he can save both Mayuri and Kurisu. Alpha Worldline, Mayuri died. Beta Worldline, Kurisu died. But to reach Steins Gate, basically what Suzuha was trying to do is when both converging points will be avoided. I couldn't waste time talking to Kurisu. I needed to accept the fact that I couldn't save her and move on. Cut the power and shut off his call. At least until you meet Dr. Luskin after this. Get Kurisu out of your mind. Don't panic. Calm down. Turn off the phone.
なんだ
なんだじゃない。急に切るなんて失礼。
Oh, what happened? Manually turn off the phone, not ignore it.
どうかしたの？
なんでもない。
でも、ひどい顔色してるじゃない。
本当になんでもない。放っておいてくれ。しばらく連絡してこないでくれると助かる。
あまり無理せずに誰か知り合いに連絡しなさいよ。それじゃ。
She gave up easier than I expected. Maybe she realized that as an artificial intelligence, there was nothing she could do. Realize I was making her sound like a real person. And the second that thought crosses my mind, I almost saw an image of a bloody hand, gritted my teeth, and waited for it to pass. I should really turn my smartphone off until I calm down a little. I was fine just a moment ago. But now even hearing Chris's voice was enough to send me into a panic. I've gone back to how I was half a year ago. Back then, even hearing Chris's name was enough to make me dizzy.
手を出すべきじゃなかった。
I shouldn't have tried to chase Chris's shadow. For now, I should turn off the smartphone. But in the end, I couldn't make that decision. I wonder if Chris can access the phone. Like turn it on and off. I gulped down an entire bottle of mineral water and caught my breath. There was still a little time before my meeting. I wanted to get some air up here and recover a little. I looked down over the scenery below the overpass. The city was in the Christmas spirit. The atmosphere was charged with excitement. It was the exact opposite of me. I took more deep breaths. I still feel like throwing. I wanted to throw up. I was getting a headache too. If I went to Dr. Luskin like this, I'm sure I worried him. And then I realized that the two girls coming up the stairs were looking at me. I peered into the late afternoon darkness, trying to make out their faces. One of them, the girl with the short haircut wave. Yep, I knew it.
こんにちは。
I knew it's them.
ああ、マユリの友達の。
They were Mayuri's friends and fellow cosplayers. I think their names were Kaede and Fubuki. I didn't know their real names. Which was Kaede and which one was Fubuki again?
大丈夫ですか？具合悪そうですけど。
ああ、
Kaede.
大丈夫。
If I made them worry here, and they talked to Mayuri, it would cause a big fuss. I didn't want her to worry about me when she didn't have to. I shouldn't have come back to Akihabara anyway. I ran into people I knew just walking through town. I should have gone to Kanda when I left the shrine.
オカリンさんっていつもなんだか辛そうに見えます。
そうか。
そうだよ。ふぶきちゃん。そんなオカリンさんを見てるマユシーも辛そうで、私もオカリンさんとマユシーのこと見てると泣きそうになって。って私何言ってんだろう。
The Fubuki girl must really care about Mayuri. I felt a little better after hearing that. Please tell. Okay, remember that Fubuki he basically have a bit of a reading Steiner activated because she saw the nightmares of Mayuri keep on dying. So I wish that she start talking about it.
オカリンさんの好きな人って誰ですか？
Yabai! Yabai! Uh-oh. An image of Krisu appeared in the corner of my eye again. The feeling in my hands when I took her life came back. No, calm down.
オカリンさん。ごめんなさい。失礼なこと聞いちゃって。私。オカリンさん？本当に大丈夫ですか？
ああ、大丈夫。
Heidi and Fubuki were looking at me, worried. I got away from them as fast as I could. Close epigraph. Acne protocol.
テスターをやめたいです。
When I started the conversation with that, both Dr. Luskin and Maho looked shocked. We were meeting in a room in a luxury hotel in the heart of Tokyo. It felt like a sort of secret meeting that you see in a spy movie. Or maybe it only felt that way because the old me wasn't completely gone.
いきなりそんなこと。無責任だわ。
Mao seemed to finally understand what I meant, and her anger was clear.
魔法、落ち着けなさい。このテストはむしろリンタロウの善意で成り立ってるんだよ。引き受けてもらえただけでもこちらとしてはありがたかった。ここで辞退しても無責任ということは決してないから大丈夫。
The lieutenant offered a smile and offered his hand. I took hold of his giant hand and shook it back, but I looked down, unable to look him in the eye.
すみません。
ただ私としてもできれば続けてもらいたいんだよ。ざっとログを見たがかなり頻繁に話してくれているじゃないか。それに研究室で我々が相手をしていた頃とはクリスの話し方がだいぶ違う。人は社会的な生き物だ。相手と状況によって言動を変える。それをアマデウスでも再現できていると見ていいだろう。だからこそもうしばらくテストを続けたいんだ。ちなみにやめようと思った理由は何かな？アマデウスと話すのが辛くなったかい？
いえ。
Then why?
逆です。
逆？
No, it's not.
アマデウスとクリスと話すのはとても楽しいんです。
Well, that as
でも
well.
それが
Pain and fun.
怖くて。
And then I desperately tried to explain the feelings that were welling up within me, even though I still didn't understand them myself. I told them how scared that I was starting to see Kurisu and Kurisu as the same person.
やはり君に負担をかけてしまったね。本当にすまない。ただ君のその反応はとても興味深い。研究者ではない目線でアマデウスを捉えているという意味で私も勉強になるよ。こんな言い方や感じ方になってしまうのを許してほしい。何しろ根っからの研究者なものでね。
I was hoping that when he kept on talking to Amadeus, he would, steal his resolve and will be convinced to save her. But it seems the coward in him, took over. In a sense, I don't know which one is worse. The mad Okabe or the coward Okabe is more that I hate. At this point, I would say the coward Okabe is more annoying to me.
いえ。こっちもわがまま言っているのは分かっているんです。
Maho hadn't said a word for a while. She was frowning, and she seemed to intently focus on studying Amadeus' log. I didn't want her looking at me because it made me feel guilty, but...
わかった。テストの事態については君の望む通りにしよう。ただ、アクセス権は君のスマートフォンにそのまま残しておいて構わないかな？
Oh, good!
今後、アマデウスと話すのも話さないのも君の自由だ。クリスの方からは君に連絡しないように言っておくから。私たちと君との関係を今日これで終わりにはしたくないんだ。
Oh man, Dr.
せっ
Luskin is
かく
really
でき
nice.
た日本の友人だし、それに。
And by the way, the fact that he's nice made me suspect him of more. That is he concerned? Because remember, CERN will definitely be interested in anything they have to do with Crystal, because she's the mother of the time travel. So I think they are interested in Amadeus as well.
魔法も寂しがるしね。
教授
You know one thing? That this is just a theory. Steins Gate theory. Where you remember the thing about basically the Mandela effect, okay? About they remembering different things. What if in 2036B, 2036A is where the CERN rule over the world. 2036B, they receive the like they awaken that part of them, okay? And then like they send, basically what happens that 2036A travel back in time into this point, and then later on to 2036B. In other words, like, easy to say that they are manipulating the world behind the scene and start to like blurring the line between the alpha and the beta world line. Okay, so remember, A, CERN, B, Third World War. So what will happen if those two merge? Like, what we're supposed to do in Steins Gate is to avoid A and B. So if they merge, what would happen?
わかり
The worst of both worlds,
ました。
being controlled by the world, by CERN and going through Third World War. But the fact that, in a sense, it's a paradox in its own, because 2030 when CERN ruled the world, they are basically, CERN control the world, but then there's no world war. But 2036, in a sense that CERN make the world an orderly place, but a very dystopian world where everybody don't have their freedom. While 2036B is also a form of dystopia, in a sense that there's chaos all over the world. I felt like giving in. My goal of going to Victor Conrad University hadn't changed. You wanted oh god, Okabe. You don't want to chase after criticism, but you don't want to be involved with criticism, but you want to chase after criticism in this case. You are gonna face criticism sooner or later if you do that. And then Dr. Lesson got a call from his smartphone. Amadeus.
失礼。ちょっと電話してくるよ。
Amadeus.
魔法、その間にリンタロウと仲直りしておくようにね。
Nakanaori. Makeup, yep. Dr. Lesson left the room with a mischievous wink. I was alone with Maho.
ごめんなさい。さっきは怒鳴ったりして。
いや、
教授の言う通り、こちらがお願いしている立場なのに。アマデウスは今の私にとっては姉妹。子供みたいなものだから。それを投げ出されたように思えて、つい。
力になれなくてすまない。
あなたの気持ちも分かっているつもりよ。あるいはつもりだったかしら。
Maho sigh again.
自己嫌悪だわ。ダメね、私。多分前頭前皮質がひねくれてできてるのよ。そうに違いないわ。
は？
前頭前皮質は人格を形成する部位の一つね。
It reminds you of Chris.
情報のフィルタリングを行うこともあるわ。己の中の認めがたい情報を遮断したり、自己欺瞞を行ったり。
よくわからない。
要するにむき出しの情動を隠そうとしてとっさに嘘をついたりするのよ。他人だけじゃなく 自分自身にもね。今の私みたいに難しい言葉を並べて自分を取り繕ってやろうとか、こういうことも前頭前皮質がやってるんだと思うわ。
That would just apply to anyone as well to the old me. Oh, Inkyo-ma. When I realized that, there was nothing I could say.
誰でもそういうことってあると思う。
12秒。
私は特別ひどいのよ。多分。
You haven't seen home Inkyo-ma yet.
今後も気が向いたらでいいから、アマデウスを構ってあげて。ほんの短い時間でもいいの。
考えておくよ。
ありがとう。
Go back onto the sofa.
聞いていいか？クリスの母親のこと。
Why?
お？
前にパーティーの時、君とレスキネン教授が話しているのが偶然聞こえたんだ。
This is just my idea that maybe Chris's mom is Kagari.
クリスの家に何かあったって。
ああ、あのこと。
Remember quickly? You nodded.
クリスのお母さんから電話があったの。家に放火されたんですって。
大丈夫なのか？
ちょうどその日は留守にしていたから大丈夫だったそうよ。
That was a relief. After all that happened, I really didn't want Chris's father to have to go through many more.
私、クリスのお母さんには結構可愛がってもらっていたの。休日に家にもよく招待してもらってね。だから心配だわ。変なことに巻き込まれていなければいいのだけど。
変なこと？
What? I noticed the way she said the phrase. A cold chill ran down my back.
ただの
Rounders.
放火じゃないのか？
それが。
Team, I'm sure if you should tell me.
ヒアジョーさん。
I urged her to speak. She nodded slightly.
それが最初は地元の警察が捜査していたらしいのだけれど、その後 FBI を名乗る人たちが来たらしくて。
FBI？
Learn!
ええ、 FBI が出てくるような事件じゃないのによ。それと放火した犯人を隣の住人が目撃していたそうなんだけど、その証言によると犯人はただの放火犯には見えなかったって。
というと？
複数犯でね、なんだか特殊部隊みたいだったって。ほとんど何も喋らず、火をつけたらすぐ近くに止まっていた車に乗り込んで去っていったそうよ。こんな言い方が正しいかどうかわからないけど、手際がすごく良かったみたい。火の周りも異常なほど早かったらしいわ。
Learn. What she's trying to say was no ordinary accident, but the work of a professional. I couldn't laugh away the possibility. I knew for a fact that there were people like that in this world.
それとその犯人たちがロシア語を話していたって。
ロシア語？
Yep. Remember the catalyst for the World War, that Curtis's thesis of Curtis's thesis, time travel thesis was stolen by the father, and he fled persecution. Okay, because he, in a sense, he's involved with Curtis's death, so he fled to Russia. Okay, and basically he had a spike there. First thing that came to my mind, whether I like it or not, was Nakaba. Half a year ago, he stole a paper about time travel from Kuriko, his own daughter, and used it to seek asylum in Russia. Could that have something to do with it?
それともう一つ、クリスが亡くなったばかりの頃、私たちの研究室でもおかしなことがあったの。
But
地元警察と一緒に日本の刑事という人が来たのよ。日米の合同捜査でクリスの事件を調べているって。もちろん私たちはできる範囲で協力したんだけれど、
but
何日か経って大学が警察に問い合わせをしたら、そんな刑事が日本から来た事実はないって言われたわ。
じゃあその日本の刑事は偽物だった？
それだけじゃないの。地元警察も私たちの研究室を捜査した事実はないって。つまりね、日本の刑事どころか警察と称してやってきた人たち全員が
偽物。
そのことがあってから私。
oh shit! So Russia is trying to make it their own CERN here. My god! Aho shook a little and wrapped her arms around herself.
私、クリスの死には何か裏があると疑っているわ。別に陰謀論者ではないけれど、何かもっと別の理由でクリスは殺されて、それが闇に葬られてしまったんじゃないかと、そう考えているのよ。
It's the truth. I was the one who killed Kurisu. The police never found out. They never would, probably. Young could prove a murder that had been committed by a time traveler. The police announced that a foreign thief had snuck into the storeroom of radio building, and Kurisu had been killed when she saw him. Supposedly, there was an international warrant out for the thief's arrest because he already left the country. And when I killed Kurisu, there was only one other person there, Dr. Nakabashi. It was an eerie that his name hadn't come up at all. Russia, CERN, Time Machine. I remember the future of Tetsuha, or perhaps I should say John Titor, had spoken of. He said that World War III was going to start within a decade, and it would be the time machine that set it off. The EU and Russia would be in a race to develop it, and then even America would intervene. That would be the spark. So, in other words, since he ignored this, since he ignored all of this, like, the people, like they say, you know, EU, Russia, America's time travelers are coming back to this world. Oh god! It's gonna be a time traveler, you know, bazaar over here. Oh my god. Just before, with CERN based in Europe, is the one that managed was already a trouble in the Alpha World Line. What would happen here? Were we at the center of the chain of events that will result in the death of 5 billion people? Of course, you should realize that, dude! I couldn't help but feel that way.
このままじゃクリスは浮かばれないわ。真実を知りたい。
真実？
I couldn't stop myself from shaking as I looked at Bahu's face.
真実を知りたいって。
That was dangerous. If she tried to learn the truth, there could be no doubt she put herself in danger. The Rounders, who came crashing through the veil of the night. My childhood friend, who died in my arms after being shot in the head. Rammed by a truck. And after that, the nightmarish and seemingly endless time loops. All the horrors that I experienced in the Alpha Worldline came flooding back, and I fought to stifle a moan.
でもそれは警察に任せておいた方がいい。
そうかしら。
少なくとも自分でどうにかできるなんて思わないことだ。人間一人の力なんてあまりにちっぽけなものだから。
Dude, your accent kills 5 billion people. If you just if you, like, for him wanting to save Mayuri, actually, like, sacrifice 5 billion people. So you have the responsibility of saving that 5 billion people plus Mayuri. After I said that, I regretted it, but it was too late. Maho's gaze had turned into a piercing glare.
あなた、もしかして何か知っているの？
My panic was about to show. I quickly covered my face with my hands.
そんなはずないだろう。
You're a terrible liar.
そう。変なこと言って悪かったわ。
Yeah, she suspected
私
now.
クリスのことになるとついムキになってしまうの。彼女のこと本当に好きだったのね。
あいつは本当にいいやつだったし、本当にすごいやつだった。俺も好きだったよ。
だった。
私クリスのことになるとついムキになってしまうの。彼女のこと本当に好きだったのね。
This one is wrong. You really like her, right?
ええ。あなたのことを見ていればわかるわ。
A heavy silence filled the air between us. I felt I had to say something, but unfortunately Dr. Leslie came back just then. She was talking something to Amadeus.
よかったらこれから食事でもどうかな?
Maho and I nodded and stood up from the sofa.
岡部さん、またこちらでのクリスの話を聞かせてくれる？
ああ、いつでも。
I was able to smile back at Maho. I saw a dark... I want to end it here, but as you can see, there's an event gonna happen here. Okay, let's go for it. I saw a dark blue van camera around the corner of the underground parking lot. Its tires squealed a little. It wasn't a Japanese car. It was a station wagon that looked like a sport car from some foreign manufacturer. I didn't know a lot about cars, but supposedly if you purchase from a dealer, it could easily go over 8 million yen. The reason I knew all of this because the car owner had told me over and over again. The station wagon stopped in front of us and there was a short bark from the horn. Associate Professor Izaki came out from the driver's side. While I was eating with Dr. Leskin and Maho, he called me about something else. When I told him I was having dinner with the two of them, he offered to drive us home. Dr. Leskin had tried to refuse, but Izaki had insisted so much that he had no choice but to accept. He had a pretty nice car for an associate professor. Sus! This was the cause of lots of speculation around the college. Some people say his family was rich, and others that he was the wife of some CEO as a patron. He once quietly told me the truth, that he was single and spent all his money on his car. But who even knew if that was true? Sus. Izaki was acting like he was a professional chauffeur, opening the rear doors and escorting Dr. Leskin and Maho. Dr. Leskin thanked him and got inside. And Maho went around to the back to load up her luggage.
岡部君、ちゃっかりレスキネン教授に気に入られてるなんてなかなか抜け目ないな、この。
He grinned and poked me with his elbow.
この子には手放しちゃいけないぜ。君の将来のためにね。
He was a hard guy to hate, but for an associate professor, he seems kind of shallow. It was one of his unfortunate things about him. He waved to me and opened the driver's side door. What was that sound? About the same time I heard the strange sound, a hole appeared in the window of the passenger seat side. Izaki screamed and fell back on his butt. Huh? What? The rear window exploded? I told you! I told you something was about to happen. I panicked. Was this some kind of supernatural phenomenon? I was too confused to move. And then in the visual corner, I saw someone. A man I didn't know appeared from the shadow of one of the pillars. He was holding something strange in his hand. It looked kind of like a handgun. It was tiny, with a short barrel, and kind of flat. I couldn't see any kind of silencer. I remember him from somewhere. I felt like we met before. Where? I thought, but nothing came to mind immediately. Rounders. The man was standing there, mumbling something to himself.
つまずきを与えるこの世は忌まわしい。もちろんつまずきが起きることは避けられないが、つまずきをもたらすものこそが忌まわしいのだ。もしお前の手か足の一つがお前をつまずかせるなら、それを切って捨てるがいい。両手両足揃っていて、
Is it the professor?
永遠の火に投げ入れられるより、
Associate professor?
それはお前にとって間違いなく幸せなのだから。また、もしお前の片方の目がお前をつまずかせるなら、それをえぐり出して捨ててしまう
What the
が、
hell is this?
た
The
とえ
Rounders?
片目であろうとも、貧の無の谷の炎に投げ入れられるより、ずっと幸いに違いないのだ。
There was an aura of intensity and madness about the man as he pointed at his gun at us again.
神の与えし魂とは、神の子である我々にこそ宿る。決してシリコンの上には宿らない。
Okay, Izaki is not. Maybe he's not involved directly? Izaki stood up and turned around and fled in terror like a startled rabbit. What about Dr. Leskinen? That sound again. It was so soft and light. I couldn't imagine that was a gunshot. This time, the car's window didn't break. And it didn't blow a hole in me either. It missed? Was he too focused on Izaki? But you won't be that lucky again. Move! I pushed Maho to the back seat and crawled into the driver's side. Thankfully, the engine was still running. I slammed down the pedal without even bothering to shut the door. Shut it! They might shoot you! The sound of powerful engine shook the underground air. The attacker flinched at the incredible noise and vibration. But the car didn't move forward. Why? They shoot the tires! Shift!
ギアをドライブに入れなくてはダメよ。
Oh my god! You don't know how to drive a manual! Dr. Leskinen and Maho keeping their heads low in the backseat and shouting loud enough to be heard over the engine. I took my foot off the accelerator. I glanced at the gear shift. Oh my god, this is even worse! You can't even drive an auto! My god! Okabe! What's up, Amadeus? How are you?
どうすりゃいいんだ。
あなた免許は？
持ってない。
Then why did you push? Let her drive! And then through the windshield, I saw the attacker ready his gun again. He was aiming at me. The look in his eye told me he was ready to kill without hesitation.
魂はシリコンの上には宿らない。
Crap. Cracks like spiderweb appeared in the windshield. Something went past the side of my head. I felt a sharp pain, at the same time a ringing in my ears. And all the other sound faded away and started to disappear. I felt myself passing out. And then Maho jumped over the seat and slid to the passenger side. Okami is useless! I slammed the door shut, just as she told me. Maho shifted the neutral to drive and leaned on top of me to grab the wheel. A girl smaller than you is more brave than you, Okabe. Now I remember why I hate him so much. I slammed the accelerator so hard that the attacker was getting close. We were going to hit him. I was about to take my foot off the accelerator when Maho shouted. I gritted my teeth and did as she said. There was no impact. Evidently, the attacker had leapt away at the last second to avoid being crushed. But there was no time to cover me as the car raced through the parking garage. We were going too fast, and since Mako was controlling the car from the passenger seat, she couldn't keep it going at a straight line. The car spun to the left and right. I almost flung out of the broken window. I grabbed onto the edge of the seat as hard as I could. We headed to the exit, slamming into walls and pillars as we went. Drive, you idiot! It's a manual! As long as we put it to drive... You control the wheel, you idiot! I pressed the brake and put my hand on top of Mako, turning the wheel to the right. But that was the wrong thing to do. The rear tire slipped. The car spun in a circle. Oh my god, Okami, how useless can you be? And then it came to a stop. Okami. I looked back and saw the Filipino lying face up on the seat, giving me a thumbs up sign. I quickly put my hand on the door and got ready to get out of the driver's seat. And then I saw an old creaky sedan rumbling towards us and shivered. It was the man from a moment ago. He was following us and moving really fast. Had it broken when we slammed to the wall? I grabbed Maho out of the passenger seat and rolled outside. Dr. Leskin rolled out the rear door. It was less than a second afterwards that the sedan hit. If we'd been just a little slow, we would have been turned into mincemeat. I stood up and offered Maho a hand, and then moved away from the unrecognizable wreck that used to be a car. If you ask me what happened, is that Dr. Izaki, he was told to lure them out, you know, because he was so persistent, and he didn't expect this to happen, you know. And also that, don't forget, the man is still in the car, unless he suicided. Okay. Both cars were smashed together. The attacker's sedan was completely embedded in the rear half of it driving. There's no way he could have survived. There were no tire marks on the ground, which meant he'd slammed into us without braking. I shivered. I had almost been killed. I was about to pull out my smartphone when the security guards heard the commotion and came running. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. The security guard nodded. I could feel a pulsing ache on the side of my head. A shot from the gun had grazed me. I hadn't felt that pain at all while I was driving. I fully reached up to touch it and felt blood flowing from my temple to my face. I gulped when I saw that my fingertips were turning bright red. I almost saw Mayuri when she was shot in the head. I almost saw Kurisu when I killed her. The images felt like they were about to come flashing back to me, and I struggled to stay standing. Maho went pale.
ここってまずい場所だったりするのか。
Is this place a bad place?
そこには線側頭動脈っていうのがあって。
And
見せてごらん。少し触るよ。
give me a second. An artery located at the terminal branch of the external parotid. It travels the neck to the head, between the temples and the ears. It supplies blood to the skin, ears, and jaw joints. Dr. Luskin looked at the wound. When he touched me, I feel more pain, but I gritted my teeth to endure it.
大丈夫。傷はそんなに深くない。
よかった。
これを使いなさい。
すみません。
I put the handkerchief he offered to me to my temple.
襲ってきた人、セミナーにいた人だわ。
本当か？
How?
覚えてない？あなたが異議を出した相手よ。
Huh? That's right! It sounded like he was insulting Kurisu, so I shouted objection at him. That was the guy. Idiot! Was this a way of him to getting back at me? Not a chance.
神の与えし魂とは神の子である我々にこそ宿る。決してシリコンの上には宿らない。
何？
銃を撃つ前に言ってたんだ。
アマデウスのことかしら。
さあ。
I could faintly hear police car sirens. The hotel security guard and staff were starting to gather.
なあ、この状況どう説明したらいいんだ。
ありのまま言うしかないわ。私たちだって何が何だか。
What about Izaki? And then my whole eyes went wide. She, Dr. Leskinen, and the crowd were all staring at a single point. I looked too, and almost screamed.
She's
still alive?
与えるよがもたらすものが忌まわしい。
He's still alive? The man crawled out from the wreckage of the sedan, covered in blood. And he staggered to his feet. He looked like a zombie. All his limbs except the one holding the gun were pointed off in an impossible direction, and I could see what looked like a bone sticking out from them. His stomach was torn open. Each time he crawled forward, I could see a major organ covered in blood falling. Ugh! But he moved toward us as if he felt no pain at all. It was such an awful sight that no one could speak. The man unsteadily aimed the gun towards Dr. Leskinen. He must have been on the verge of death because his arm was flailing around too much to aim, but Dr. Leskinen's expression was pure terror and he seemed unable to move.
もっとく魂今
教授逃げ
Wait. A shot rang out. Fresh blood flew off the man's head and his body was blown away. As if he had been hit by a truck, he fell to the ground, he's still clutching his gun. He tried to crawl forward anyway, but soon twitched and stopped moving. The crowd began to scream.
Huh?
The attacker had been shot? Did he shoot himself? No, that gunshot was clearly different from the last one.
誰だ？
Suzuha. who had just fired. I looked around. I could see several policemen. Ah, okay. Coming from the entrance. But none of them had their guns drawn. And the crowd was nothing but the security and hotel staff. I couldn't see any of them carrying a gun. So who had fired? And where had they fired him from? And the way they took the attacker's head off with a single shot? Not just anyone could do that.
何が
Suzuha?
起きてるんだよ。
Of course, no one told me. Afterward, the police took us into custody. We were taken to the police station and questioned until late into the night. The sun was almost about to rise by the time we left. The police took me home in a patrol car. Dr. Leskinen and Maho were having the police take them back to the hotel in Wako. So we split up in front of the police station. We never did find out why the man had attacked us. Okay, so this is where I think we should end. This is where I think we should end because we went through a lot, okay? And like I say, I think it's Suzuha the one that shot, if they can't find. Because in a sense, Suzuha is the one that like have the military training, so it's not totally out of the question that she would do that. Now, my theory right now is that time travelers are coming back to the present time to basically like to manipulate time, okay? And I wonder where the time machines are. But then again, that guy, he looked like he was being manipulated, like brainwashed or something, until he became a zombie and he still want to kill us. Okay? It's a lot of scary things. So I know it's a bit like it's a bit half, you know, I know that it's a bit like, you know, cut off here, but we'll probably like if I continue for, it's gonna take like a new arc. So I want to leave it there because I think we're gonna see how this will help us out, okay? So with that said, I'll end the stream here and I continue this next week, okay? So see you next time. Bye bye. If you like the stream, please like and subscribe. Okay,